Hello, everybody. I just finished writing my 7th book. I technically finished writing it a month ago, but still, do I have any details that I can provide for you about this book, aside from the fact that it's a romance? No, because I don't know how I'm going to publish it. I haven't decided if I'm going the indie route or the traditional route, and I don't know when I'm going to publish it. I don't know anything. But in honor of this achievement, let's do some more rankings. Last time we ranked romantasy tropes from best to worst, and this time we are going to rank general romance tropes. When you guys were helping me come up with romantasy tropes to rank, a lot of them also fit into general romance, so I figured, why not just do a second video? The tropes I'm talking about today are, like I said, general romance tropes, which means you're going to see them in a lot of romance novels, as well as their subgenres like historical romance, romantasy, whatever. But the determiner here is that these tropes could work in a contemporary romance, since contemporary romance is kind of considered the general baseline romance genre. Let's cook up our tiers. I decided to go with the same tiers as the romantasy trope. First up, we have put it in an IV. These are my absolute favorite tropes. I could just eat them up. If you want to get me interested, tell me your book has this trope and I'm sold. The next tier is sure, whatever. These tropes are fine. I like them sometimes, sometimes I don't. I don't have very strong opinions, but they're all right. Next is not my thing, which, as the title suggests, means these tropes just aren't really my vibe. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, I'm just not super into them. I don't trust you is the next tier. These are for tropes that I feel like have a lot of promise. I feel like in theory I would really enjoy these tropes, but so many people have written them poorly that now I am forever skeptical of a book that features this trope. Next, we have more of this shit, which means these tropes are overdone and cliche, and I'm sick of it. And lastly, we have feed it to sharks, which means I hate this trope, I want nothing to do with this trope, and I don't want to read any books that feature this trope. All right, let's get to ranking. Please keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion. It's not necessarily writing advice. Let me know how you'd rank these tropes in the comments below. First off, we're starting strong with the love triangle. I know a lot of you are probably thinking I will feed this one to sharks, but honestly, I don't really have strong opinions about the love triangle. I honestly haven't read a lot of books with a love triangle. I know there was a time where the love triangle was a cliche. Thanks to Twilight, it became very popular. I don't feel like it's as popular now. I don't know. I guess I'd say it's just not my thing. I don't have a strong opinion about it. If a book features a love triangle, it's not gonna prevent me from reading it, but it's also not gonna make me wanna read it. It's just sort of there. Next, we have the third act breakup. This trope is super controversial these days. Everyone's like, why are people writing the third act breakup? These are people who don't understand basic storytelling structure. Before the climax, the main character needs to experience some kind of low. In a romance novel, the ultimate low is losing love. So a third act breakup is super common because that's the main character's breaking point. That's their low moment. That happens so you root for them to get back together. But I understand that it happens a lot. You certainly don't have to have your main characters break up in a romance. They can experience some other kind of low. It could be an argument. It could be some outside force that is jeopardizing their love. There are other options is what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm gonna put it in sure whatever. It's fine. I can live with or without it, so long as the breakup makes sense. And so long as they break up in a way where you actually root for them to get back together, it's realistic for them to get back together. The breakup can't be triggered by something that's completely irredeemable, like cheating or something like that. Next, we have the fake dating or fake engagement. Put it in an IV. This is my absolute favorite contemporary romance trope. I may even love it more than forbidden romance, at least at this point in time. I mean, they kind of flip-flop depending on my mood. The book I wrote may or may not have a fake engagement. I'm just saying, I love this. I mean, when I hear that a book has fake dating or fake engagement, I'm zeroed in. I'm like, tell me more. I think what I like about it is because it forces some level of sweetness and intimacy early on while still including that uncertainty. You're not quite sure, is this real or is this pretend? There's an element of mystery. There's an element of confusion and excitement. I just love it. This is probably going to be my favorite trope on the list because, like I said, it's one of my favorite tropes, period, of any genre. I love fake dating. I love fake engagements. If you write this book, I'm buying it. Next, we have Rivals to Lovers. I'm putting this in, sure, whatever. I think Rivals to Lovers can be really, really fun. I've read some that were just super adorable. It's kind of like a toned down Enemies to Lovers. It's Enemies to Lovers without the murder. And I think it can be really fun, but I've read quite a few Rivals to Lovers that really just sort of the bed. And usually the problem is they had no reason to be rivals. It's very shoehorned in. It's like, oh, I just added this trope because I wanted to market this trope. You have to give them an actual reason to be rivals, okay? Just like you have to give them an actual reason to be enemies if you're writing Enemies to Lovers. So it could have been one of my favorites, but I've seen too many mixed bags of it. It's definitely a trope that I have enjoyed in the past and one I've also been let down with in the past. Next, we have Opposites Attract. I'm going to put this in sure whatever as well. I also, you know what, maybe no, I'm gonna put it in I Don't Trust You, and here's why. I love the idea of opposites attracting because I think that's just a very compelling concept, and I think it's very valid in a lot of situations. It actually happens in the real world. But usually when we're looking at an opposites attract book, it's the player, bad boy, and the nerdy virgin, or the player jock and the nerdy virgin, or the player confident musician and the insecure virgin. It's always the same thing. It's a slutty man and a virginal girl, and his dick is gonna be this big, and she's gonna be like, is it even going to fit? And then they're gonna have sex, and she's gonna have 20,000 orgasms, and I don't wanna read that. You can make them opposites in different ways, people. There are other options. Next, we have the slow burn. I feel like slow burn only works in a series. It does not work in a standalone. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. Unless it's a clean romance and the climax is gonna be them kissing for the first time. That is the only situation where I feel like slow burn works in a standalone novel. So I'm gonna say sure, whatever. I mean, it's better than an insta-love, I guess, but I don't have strong opinions about a slow burn. The Grumpy Sunshine. Feed it to sharks. I'm sorry, okay? I hate this trope. I'm so sick of it. It's always a grumpy man and a manic pixie dream girl. It's always the world's biggest grumpy asshole, and then a girl who like loves pink and tutus and kittens. First of all, that woman sounds delightful in real life, but half the time, more than half the time, she's written to be really annoying and obnoxious, and her only personality is smile, sparkles. Like, she has no depth outside of that. She truly is a manic pixie dream girl. And then the guy being a grump and an asshole, it's like, what about that is appealing? What are you grumpy about? The fact that you make more money than her? The fact that you have more rights than her? The fact that you can't get pregnant? What do you have to be grumpy about? I'm obviously being facetious. Men have problems too. It's done so much and I'm just over it. I will say I have read Grumpy Sunshine books that were written well. So while I'm putting it in Feed It to Sharks, this is kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. I can think of one book I read called Jack Off, where it was a Grumpy Sunshine book. I really enjoyed that book. I think I gave it 5 stars. But the thing is that he wasn't that grumpy. He was just sort of like, I guess I would say he was legit just kind of grumpy. He was just a grumpy guy. And usually books that are labeled as Grumpy Sunshine, the guy is a full-blown asshole. This guy was just the grump. I can handle that. Can you tell I'm just over reading about mean men? I don't want that anymore. Next, we have the Black Cat and the Golden Retriever, which is the opposite of the Grumpy Sunshine. It's where the woman is standoffish, maybe she's jaded, she's been burned before, and the guy is very sweet, very attentive, very funny, plucky, just a little ball of joy. And at the risk of sounding like a hypocrite, I say put this in an IV. I'm done reading about men, but I love reading about a big woman, especially if she has a, well, you know what? Does she need a reason to? No, yeah, she does. She needs a reason to be bitch. I love a Black Cat and Golden Retriever because it's so refreshing after so many books that are grumpy sunshine. It's so refreshing to subvert a cliche. That's what this is. This is a subversion of a cliche. I also think it's relatable. I too am a standoffish woman. I would love to read about more women like me. And I like sweet guys. I like little cinnamon rolls. I want to see a man bring out the soft side of a hardened woman. Isn't that what we all need in life? Yeah, put it in an IV. This one's for me. Next, we have the small town romance. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble if I say the way I actually feel. Okay, here are my thoughts. We live in unprecedented times. There's a lot of bad going on in the world. When I see something's a small town romance, I'm afraid I'm going to read something that's very don't tread on me coded. And to be clear, I'm not saying small towns are all like that. I'm just saying I've had experiences with these books before. If the book is set in Seattle or New York, you know, there's a good idea that that's probably not gonna be the case. I just don't want to read trad wife propaganda and other similar types of propaganda. Are you catching my drift here? Are we understanding each other? I think I'm gonna feed it to sharks. Also, because I just feel like small towns are kind of boring. A lot of people I know who live in small towns, they're like, the most interesting thing we have here is Walmart or like a lake or something, you know? I don't know. You know what? How about we just be polite here and we'll put it in not my thing. This trope has made me very uncomfortable and discussing it has made me very uncomfortable. Let's move on. Next, we have the billionaire romance. More of this. You've seen billionaires, right? They are ugly old men. But in your book, he's a hot, buff guy with tattoos. I can't suspend my disbelief. I can't get into it. Also, there is no such thing as an ethical billionaire, so all I'm thinking about is what did he do? Who did he exploit to get all that money? Also, you really don't need $1 billion to do half of the amazing stuff they do in these novels. You really only need tens of millions of dollars, maybe hundreds of millions, but still, it's a fraction of $1 billion. I think the problem with these novels comes down to people not understanding finance. Yeah, I said it. Next, we have mafia romance. This is another one. Sorry, I need to calm down. I should have added a tier called I don't get it. Aren't people in the mafia usually abusive in their relationships? But in these mafia romance books, the guys are of course hunky and wonderful and they kill everyone, but they're like great to their partners. I guess I'm just gonna put this in not my thing. Maybe I should be as outraged as I am about the billionaire romance, but for some reason I'm not. I don't know, maybe I've just written so much murder that I'm just like, oh, whatever. Probably something I should discuss with my therapist. Next up, we have the miscommunication trope. This is another one that I don't hate as much as every other person. And that's because miscommunication is just a normal part of life. People miscommunicate all the time, especially you neurotypicals. You never say what you mean and you never mean what you say. So I think it's realistic. I think it just depends on how it's written. It's annoying if the miscommunication trope goes on for chapters and chapters and chapters. But if they have a misunderstanding and then a couple chapters later they discuss it and move on, I think that's just a normal part of any relationship. So I guess it depends how it's done. I'll put it in sure whatever. I don't have strong opinions about it. It's not gonna make me not read the book. Have I seen it written terribly? Of course. But I've also seen it written in a way that was perfectly realistic and reasonable, and I just don't have the strong feelings other people have for it. Next, we have second chance romance. I'm not into this one. There's a part of me that really wants to write a second chance romance just to see if it can be written in a way that I like. But every second chance romance I've read, I've been like, there's a reason you two didn't get together. Stay away. Stay broken up. I'm gonna say feed it to sharks. I don't feel that strongly about it. I don't completely hate it. But if I see a book as a second chance romance, the odds are I'm probably not gonna pick it up. But if I heard it's really good, I'll give it a chance. See what I did there? And like I said, I kind of want to write one day just to see if I could write it in a way that I like. But usually it's two people who used to date and they had a bad breakup for whatever reason, and then they get back together and more drama ensues. Usually it just feels like all up, basically. I would prefer a second chance where it was like they almost got together in the past and then life happened. And now they have a second chance to get together when they weren't able to in the past. Does that make sense? Maybe that's how I'll write it in the future. We'll see. Next, we have friends to lovers. I'm gonna say, sure, whatever. I don't have strong opinions about it. I'm not gonna pick up a book because it's friends to lovers, but I'm also not going to avoid it because it's friends to lovers. What I don't like is where they've been friends for 20 years and they've had these strong feelings and just never said anything because they didn't want to ruin the friendship. I find that very annoying. There has to be a really solid reason why they either never said anything or why they were friends for so long and now all of a sudden romantic feelings have developed. And it's got to be more than just they got hot. So it really depends on how it's done. I've read it before where I liked it, and I've certainly read it before where I didn't like it. Next, we have the step-sibling romance. You guys are going to judge me so hard. Everyone's expecting me to hate this one. I do not. Don't judge me yet. I don't love it. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. It depends, okay? If they became step siblings as children and grew up together as siblings, then that's gross because they've had that sort of relationship their whole life. But in a lot of step sibling books, they became step siblings as adults. And they're just meeting as adults. And right when they meet, there's like an instant attraction. And I don't think that's that big of a deal because they're not actual siblings. They're just meeting. They have never had a relationship that was sibling-like in any way. So who cares? I'm gonna put it in sure whatever. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Well, I hate it if they were raised together as kids, but I personally haven't read books like that. I'm sure they exist. I mean, there are books that exist where girls fall in love with their fathers. So, you know, that's the real gross stuff. Like, I don't want to deal with that. Next, we have the age gap romance. I'm going to put this in more of this because 9 times out of 10, it is an older man and a younger girl. Not even a woman, but a barely legal girl. She's gonna be 18, 19, 20, or 21, and he's gonna be her dad's best friend who helped raise her, okay? Now that's gross. That's gross. I don't want to read any of that. The reason I'm not putting it in Feed It to Sharks is because I've read some age gap romances where it's like she's 26 and he's 40. That's not that weird, I guess. But also, I really like age gap romances where the woman's older and the man's younger, provided he is at least 25, okay? Just because the woman's the older one doesn't make predatory behavior okay. Let's get that straight. Maybe I shouldn't put it in more of this. You know what? Okay, I'm changing the ranking. I'm putting it in I Don't Trust You because I think age gaps could be handled well, but they usually aren't. Are we in agreement with this? Okay, I don't want to see a barely legal girl end up with her dad's best friend. Why am I seeing that exact storyline play out so much in these romance novels? It's gross. Stop it. And last, we have the surprise pregnancy. You guys know what I'm gonna say here. Does anyone like this trope? Actually, I do know of people who like this trope, but not my kind of people. We're gonna feed it to sharks. There's nothing romantic about pregnancy, swollen feet, morning sickness, the bloody show. It's gross. It's a gross experience. Your focus should be on the child and the pregnancy and, you know, keeping the mother safe. I don't think the surprise pregnancy is appealing at all, especially because it often comes at the price of the woman's life and ambitions and everything she wants to do. And a lot of the times it's written about a woman who expressly doesn't want kids, but then she gets knocked up and is like, I've changed my mind. I want to be a mom. Like, let women not want to have kids and then in turn not have kids. It's not that big of a deal. I don't like the surprise pregnancy trope. I don't want to read about morning sickness and that kind of stuff. I don't think it's romantic. Sue me. That's all I got for you today. If you'd like me to rank more writerly things, let me know in the comments below and let me know what you'd like me to rank. If you'd like help writing your very own book, check out Shut Up and Write the Book or How to Write Romantasy or both. They're available at all major retailers. I got them linked below. And if romantasy is more your vibe, check out the first 3 books in the Saviors series, The Savior's Champion, The Savior's Sister, and The Savior's Army. They're available on Kindle Unlimited. I also have them linked below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays and I host live streams on Mondays. And if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. Bye! Have you subscribed to my channel yet? I mean, you totally should. I post new videos on Wednesdays. I also host live streams on Mondays and they're super fun. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and be sure to ring that bell. That way you're alerted as soon as I post new content.